What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be ranking all of the Flash's graphic novels, and of course this version is going to be updated for the Red Death storyline. So yeah, guys, with that said, let's go ahead and get right into this. So coming in at number 8, I have graphic novel number 3, God Complex. So yeah, the Forces storyline is no doubt the worst graphic novel on the Flash. From, the Forces calling Barry and Iris their parents, to the Speed Force being like such a dramatic, terrible villain. From, the Speed Force having its own avatar instead of having Barry be the Speed Force avatar, which really makes no sense to me whatsoever. And just the cringe writing, Barry barely being in the episode. This is basically the start of all the filler episodes as well. This graphic novel was awful, so I think it rightfully deserves to be down at the bottom of the list. So now coming in at number 7, I actually have graphic novel number 8 titled Rogue War. At least that's what I believe it's called. Of course, this is the Red Death storyline. And yeah, just nothing really stood out about this graphic novel. I mean, there were a lot of bad things about this graphic novel, and there wasn't really anything that was extremely good. So I couldn't really, put it above a lot of these other graphic novels that I actually enjoyed a lot of. But I mean, there were some good things, of course. There were the speedster battle that they had in the finale of the Red Death storyline. I thought was pretty cool, but just a lot of bad stuff. I mean, Ryan Wilder, I don't think fit the role of the Red Death. I know they were trying to be comic book accurate, but without her mask on, she was just so cringe, and I really just did not enjoy her character without the Red Death mask on. There was still some cringe dialogue. The Keown storyline is pointless. Allegra and Chester have also the most pointless relationship on the show. I don't think anybody really cares about that at all. So yeah, nothing really amazing in this graphic novel whatsoever. So now coming in at number 6, I have graphic novel number 2, Reflections and Lies. Of course, this is the Mirror Monarch storyline. And a lot of you guys are like, some of you guys might even think this is the worst graphic novel. Me personally, I really don't think so. I think, Mirror Monarch wasn't the best villain, but I'd say much better than, what we had with the Red Death storyline. I think this storyline definitely tops that storyline. And it's also just the fact that, during this storyline, when it was happening in season 6, there were tons of other cool things happening in season 6. We had a Godspeed episode, a Grodd episode, the death of the Speed Force stuff, a Reverse Flash storyline. I mean, there were tons of other stuff going on while this Mirror storyline was going on, which we really didn't have with the Red Death, which is why I think this storyline gets to be a little bit higher than the Red Death. So yeah, I definitely don't think this is the worst, but nowhere near the best. So now at number 5, I have graphic novel number 4, The Godspeed Imperative. Now, I just have 2 or 3 actually huge problems with this graphic novel, but otherwise I think it's actually not too bad. The first problem is the writing. The writing was insanely cringe, especially for Godspeed's character. The second problem I have is with the Godspeed clones. They spent 3 episodes doing the Godspeed clones and 1 episode doing Godspeed. They could have just done, 1 episode with the clones and then 3 episodes with the real Godspeed, or taken out those 2 interlude episodes and added those to the Godspeed storyline. I think that would have definitely worked much better. And then, finally is the length of the storyline. It should have been a lot longer. But yeah, otherwise, I think Godspeed's actually a pretty cool villain. I really hope his return in season 9 is going to be good as well. And I think, the characters they brought in for this, Bart, Nora, of course, this is Bart's first appearance. I think this was actually not a bad storyline. I mean, obviously it wasn't that good, but I definitely don't think that it's as bad as a lot of people say it is. So coming in at number 4, I have graphic novel number 6 titled Death Revisited. This is the Deathstorm storyline from the middle of season 8, and I think this one was actually very underrated and very, very good. You had Deathstorm, who is one of the most scary villains we've ever had on The Flash, even though, the CGI for him wasn't that good, but, there was like a cosmic element to it, which I really enjoyed in this storyline. I also really enjoyed the implementation of Ronnie Raymond in the first half. It was great to see him back, even though it wasn't actually him that returned. It was, just him pretending to be Ronnie Raymond, Deathstorm pretending to be Ronnie Raymond. I also really enjoyed how much they put Caitlin in this storyline and kind of minimized Allegra and Chester and Cecile. So I think that was a really good way to go about things in this storyline. But yeah, of course, nothing, stands out a lot. There were still some bad things in the storyline, of course, but I think that for the most part, it was really good. So coming in at number 3, I have graphic novel number 7 titled It's All Negative. And of course, this is the final graphic novel of The Flash Season 8 with all the Reverse Flash stuff going on. And I know you guys are thinking, you're like, why is this one so high? A lot of people really did not like this storyline. And that is because of Matt Letscher's Eobard Thawne. I really enjoyed him returning, even if it was, a good version of Matt Letscher. I still think that, it could be teasing something to come in Season 9 where maybe that version of Matt Letscher turns evil, gets his memories back, and somehow returns. I think that would be so cool. But yeah, nonetheless, Matt Letscher returning just really made this storyline so much better, in my opinion. And I think that the Mina Dawin stuff was actually pretty cool. I didn't think she was that bad of a speedster, especially when she became the Negative Flash. I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, overall, I'd say that, episodes 18 and 19, especially where, even though it was the Tom Cavanagh version of Reverse Flash, I still enjoyed the scene where he, ripped off the original Matt Letscher's Reverse Flash's face off. I think that was pretty interesting. But yeah, honestly, I think this storyline's a little bit underrated, even though the finale for this wasn't very good. The writing was pretty bad. The final battle between the Flash and the Reverse Flash also wasn't really good. The Flash, or the Reverse Flash, didn't really need to use that black suit. That didn't really make any sense. But yeah, I still think this storyline is pretty underrated. So coming in at number 2, I have graphic novel number 5, Armageddon. Of course, this one started off The Flash Season 8, and it was really good. There were tons of characters that returned, and the thing I really liked about this one is it really focused on Barry in every single episode, which is something they don't really do anymore. Of course, with the most recent episode of The Flash, they did not do that at all, which is really, really aggravating. So Armageddon doing that was a huge refresher. Also, Reverse Flash being behind everything was so cool. So yeah, I think that this one definitely deserves to be up here at number 2. And just the Reverse Flashpoint stuff as well, with Reverse Flash becoming the Flash, I thought was a really cool idea. And I thought Despero was also a really cool villain, even though, he didn't appear that much. I think he was still a pretty cool addition to the Armageddon storyline. So yeah, Armageddon, I think, is one of the best graphic novels on The Flash and deserves to be here at number 2. And at number 1, I have graphic novel number 1, Blood and Truth. Of course, this is the Bloodwork graphic novel, and this one, in my opinion, is by far the best graphic novel. Bloodwork is a fantastic villain. It is a crime that he only got 8 episodes as the villain, but all those episodes I thought were really, really good. Now, of course, there were, episodes that weren't focused on Barry, but here's the thing. They're still good because they were focused on, Cisco and Caitlin, so that's why those episodes are still good, and why this is still the best graphic novel on The Flash. You still had characters like Ralph on the show, who I really miss. I was thinking about this the other day. If he was still on the show, he would definitely have made this a lot better. And yeah, of course, this graphic novel is responsible for one of the best Flash episodes of all time, The Last Temptation of Barry Allen Part 1, and in one of the best seasons of The Flash, in my opinion. In my opinion, the third best season, Season 6. So yeah, I'd say I enjoyed nearly everything about this graphic novel, and I think it definitely deserves to be the best. But anyways, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, as well as your own ranking of your graphic novels on The Flash. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.